Yo, just wanted to talk about the Specters I've been playing with the past couple of days. These are the Sanguimancer demons. They are essentially bigger versions of the Demon Herder. They have the same abilities with around double the damage. They have some really cool special abilities however. They lose a percentage of their life when casting spells. 10% of that life lost is given to all allies around them. The perfect version also gains an aura while the Spectre is on low life. When your Spectre is level 75, this aura gives about 142% increased spell damage. The aura does not stack with multiple demons and you don't really want them to reach low life. I don't think there's a reliable way to keep them at low life either. Lastly, when these reach 20% HP, they will stop casting until they are back to full health. They don't gain an extra regen buff once reaching 20% HP or anything like that, so you don't really want them to reach 20% HP. Now, just having one of these, it will die. Two of these, still die. Three of these, not quite there yet. But, when you reach 4, they start having enough heals to sustain themselves, along with some regen from your tree. But when you reach 5, they really start to shine. We don't exactly know how much life they use when casting spells, but we do know that 10% of the life spent heals all nearby allies. So with 5 of these, they essentially heal themselves for 50% of the life spent, as they also heal each other. Along with regen and some good defenses, this is enough for them to sustain. Since the heal happens with every cast, this means that the more cast speed they have, the quicker the heals are. And these heals are instant heals and not healing over time like we would get from regen or life leech. With this healing, your zombies never die. Support them with meat shield and they tank and taunt everything for you. Your AG doesn't really need the Mask of the Stitch Demon, as the heals are extremely potent, so you care more about raw defenses. If your AG dies however, I am not an insurance company. So this heal mechanic is really cool. We do not normally have incredible sustain on minion builds. We usually rely on either regen, life on block, or ES on block with something like an Aegis Aurora, or maybe something like the Baron if running a zombie build. There is some downsides however. Even though the damage is about double in comparison to a Demon Herder, and the triple mortar ability likely hits 3 times, so we can multiply the damage by 3, their damage is still not very high and requires some investment. Their abilities are physical spells and have 25% of physical converted to fire. This is priority conversion and cannot be overwritten by items. This makes scaling a little bit tricky. They also have 2 other abilities, a large beam nuke with high base damage, and a vomit mortar ability that shoots out a bunch of mortars. Those mortars do benefit from overlap, but they are spread out quite far, so the damage potential is limited. These abilities also have higher cast times, which is not optimal for DPS. I have been fiddling around a bit, trying setups where I don't use conversion, or where I use lightning, or just scaling physical with pride, but I found that their damage was just not quite high enough in those setups. Even though 4 green socket Triad grips sacrifice a lot of stats, I did end up using them and scaling cold damage. Don't expect super high damage from these. I am able to clear T16 maps and was able to kill Searing Exarch at a decent speed. I do sometimes die however, especially to bigger hits, but my gear is also butt crack and there's tons of room for improvement. I am playing this on a Necromancer as I really like the defenses that the Necromancer gives. The Bone Offering especially really made the Sanguimancer demons tanky. You could try them out on a Guardian. The relics would provide hatred, creating room to use Zealotry in addition for more damage. I am a little bit worried about the tankiness of the Sanguimancer demons especially however. They really need some good defenses to keep everything else alive. I started using these when I reached level 40 and used the double Midnight Bargain setup with the Wraith Lord, then using Petrified Blood on the remaining 40% health. This did not feel too bad until I reached yellow maps. Just make sure to stack enough life and cap your resistances. Be careful of Piety towards the end of Act 4 however. The beam that she uses when she spins around inflicts corrupted blood and will destroy all your minions. There's no counter to this other than killing her quick. I did try and use Petrified Blood later on, but found it to take a little bit too much investment. And changing hits to damage over time is not really needed, as the heals from the Sanguimancer demons are potent enough. But I might revisit Petrified Blood later on at a higher budget. I have 60% chance to block and spell block. I also have 76% fire resistance and 75% lightning and cold resistance. I also have 11k armor without flasks. My chaos resistance is minus 29%. You would definitely want to get higher. My AG is using a low budget setup with Dying Breath, Leer Cast, Windscream boots for the additional curse, generic Corrupted Gloss with Elemental Weakness curse implicit. You could also use a Frostbite implicit, and the chest is just some random generic one. I usually prefer running a Garb of the Ephemeral. If you want supreme tankiness for just your AG, the Doppelganger Skies might be a good option. I will post my full POB in the description. My tree is not that efficient. I have already started routing to the right as I am looking to get spell suppression. If you want to run this from level 40, I would focus on getting the minion defense wheels first. In Path of Building, I use the Demon Herder as a template and add 100% chance to deal double damage in the custom modifiers. This is not at all accurate numbers, but might give a good ballpark indication as to how much damage the Sanguimancer demons deal. You also want to multiply the final full DPS value by 3 to get a more accurate estimation of the triple mortar. Do note that I have not done extensive detailed testing. I've just been enjoying playing with them as they are really fun to play with. They really give you that good old lazy feel that pure Spectre builds used to have. Overall, not a bad Spectre. Yep. The third one in a row under 60. For fuck's sake.